Oh my day. Oh my days, Queen Lizzie, I'm sorry.
Hello gents, today we're trying American barbecue for the very first time. We've got a brisket here, nice cornbread, and then some mac and cheese as well with some sauces. It's about noontime where I am.
Coming me as a Brit, living in the USA, about to try Texas barbecue for the first time. So I got the food. Bed back season tour is in full effect. So I got a 3-meat plate first. It's got ribs, brisket, and jalapeno cello sausage.
Meatloaf, and it's got like a sauce around it.
I think you said it has like a tomato-based sauce on top of it.
It tastes like tomato ketchup.
Does it? Strawberries?
I am in McDonald's right now in LA, so let me show you what we have. Look at all the chips. Oh my goodness, so good. Sprite. Blue Sprite. I don't know why it's blue, we will see. Cheers!
I chose 3 creators, cook their recipes to see who has the best meatloaf recipe. First contestant, Sade, or Sade. Second contestant, Jess. And third contestant, Cooking with Dimples. Whoever has the best meatloaf recipe wins
American Meatloaf was viewed as the embarrassing relative of American cooking for many years. Without ever tasting the food, people made jokes about it, avoided it, and believed they understood. However, something unexpected occurred when a group of British cooks ultimately made the decision to prepare the recipe themselves. The criticism turned into inquiry, the jokes vanished, and a meal they were supposed to detest sparked an unexpected argument.
Some proper Texas barbecue. Have a look at this.
Wow, this is nice. This is good food. You know it's good when it just falls off a bone. Look at that. Wow.
I've heard nothing but great things about this restaurant here in Oklahoma City. Welcome back to another episode of Trying Shit Across America. Today I'm in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma at the Press, baby. This meatloaf is stuffed with feta cheese right down.
Long before anyone tries them, some dishes become global jokes. However, what if everyone's perception of them is inaccurate? That weight has been carried by American meatloaf for decades.
Dinner is more commonly known as tea, so I've got a simple question for you, and that is, what are you having for your tea? The reason I'm asking you that, and oh, by the way, make sure you save this post because it's a great place for dinner.
There's so much. I guess you want to try and get a bunch of different
I know.
stuff. Wow! Oh my gosh! Oh my! Can I just ask really quickly, what is gumbo?
Gumbo is like a soup, and it has meat in it, pork.
I've heard nothing but great things about this restaurant here in Oklahoma City. Welcome back to another episode of Trying Shit Across America. Today I'm in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma at the Press, baby. This meatloaf is stuffed with feta cheese right down.
The internet has an odd tendency to determine whether a dish is bad long before the majority of people have had a chance to try it. American meatloaf is one of the foods that has endured that destiny the most. It has been reduced to a running joke for years. Disregarded as little more than a dry slab of ground beef submerged in ketchup, it managed to survive only because generations of Americans persuaded themselves that it was soothing.
Whoa. I know you're from where you're from.
We're foreign. Well, we don't know what we're doing.
Stop with the knives.
No, you don't need a knife?
No, you take your fingers and you lift that up and you eat it.
Okay.
Not with a fork.
Today we are at Texas Roadhouse. Okay, this is somewhere I've never been before, but like this ultimate American thing, right? This is a super American chain, so here we are reviewing it. Okay, I am drinking the cactus water.
The reputation spread so widely that many individuals outside of the US took it for granted without ever considering the source of that belief. Then an unexpected event started to happen.
Why can I not get my meatloaf to taste like the restaurant? The absence of yummy British tasting sausages to make sausage and mash. I have decided that meatloaf is the closest thing I can get to the feeling of the comfort of a big old bowl of sausage and mash. I love
My first time eating meatloaf. Now, back home in London, we got a thing called Harvester or Toby Carvery. It's where you go to get like a roast dinner, a mixed brew or whatnot. Hey, they got something called Boston Market over there. Something similar. Let's go see.
An increasing number of British home cooks have made the decision to test the recipe rather than laugh at the stereotype. The response that followed was not what anybody had anticipated. as the very dish that they thought would validate every unfavorable stereotype actually made them reconsider everything they believed to be true about one of the most famous comfort foods in America. Seeing presumptions clash with reality is fascinating, particularly when those presumptions have been supported for decades. More baggage was attached to meatloaf than to nearly any other American meal. When you mention burgers, barbecue, or fried chicken, people instantly think of meals that are enjoyed all over the world. But when you bring up meatloaf, people's reactions are frequently entirely different.
The brisket. Get a good chunk out of there. Good little piece. Oh, look at that. I got the moist cut, whatever that means. You said it was a little more fatty, so let's see.
Steak for breakfast. Steak and eggs for breakfast. You Americans, again, you're crazy.
What's up, people? We're currently in New York City. And as you can see, we've got Applebee's right there. I've heard so much about Applebee's. And I'm finally gonna try it. Come on, let's go.
People envision a tasteless dinner that was only prepared because families had no other option, as if its appeal stemmed from necessity rather than true love. Many individuals feel qualified to criticize the dish even though they have never seen or tasted a handmade version because that perception has grown so strong on the internet. This is the exact reason why these British culinary innovations have gained such popularity. They are more than just videos of recipes. These are small social experiments that highlight the startling discrepancy between online mythology and actual reality. Almost all artists start off with the same cautious suspicion.
This is the biggest rib I've ever seen.
That HEB barbecue out of 10 then.
10 out of 10. Unbelievable.
Massive shout out to HEB barbecue manager John and pitmaster Samuel.
Americans' portions are something else, completely next level. Look at this club sandwich. Look at that. I've already eaten half the fries off of it. Massive. It's actually like 2 full sandwiches. Are insane.
The fry sauce.
Fry sauces.
Some people look at the ingredient list and ask what could possibly be made with ground beef, breadcrumbs, onions, eggs, herbs, and spice. Some are unable to look past the word alone and anticipate something that is much more bread than meat. Many people have already persuaded themselves that they know exactly how the final dish will taste before the oven is even turned on. Naturally, the irony lies in the fact that the ingredients themselves are not particularly unique. Many of the same basics can be found in British kitchens. In Europe, ground beef has long been a common ingredient. Garlic and onions are the main ingredients in many traditional dishes. Herbs have been utilized internationally for centuries, while breadcrumbs have been used for generations. The shopping list doesn't feel especially foreign. The combination of those commonplace substances is the whole secret.
I like that, but it's kind of a sweet tomato sauce.
Meatloaf isn't really nice. Try it on its own.
Okay, it is time. I am trying for the first time ever, and I'm a little bit nervous. Biscuits and gravy. This is not what we call gravy in the UK. This is very different. I've also got this. Grits, it's called. I don't know.
Meatloaf is one of those recipes that, although quite straightforward on paper, suddenly transforms into something completely different when it's served at the dinner table. Usually, that metamorphosis starts as soon as the oven door opens. The meatloaf appears with a gorgeously caramelized crust that instantly dispels all preconceived notions about it, rather than the dry, lifeless block that so many people had anticipated. The delicious scent of roasted onions, garlic, herbs, and slow-cooked beef permeates the kitchen as steam escapes through the glaze, catching the light. The initial impression is nearly always the same, regardless of whether the topping is made with a smoky barbecue sauce, traditional ketchup glaze, or a family recipe that is kept under wraps.
But the reason I'm asking you is because I'm a Brit, I've moved to America, and I'm definitely finding that I'm staying in my comfort zone when it comes to cooking, and that is cooking food that I would eat for dinner back home in the UK. Not necessarily traditional British like pie mash sausage.
But it also has seafood in it. Gumbo has been around about 75 years.
Oh my gosh. So it's got this strong punchy flavour, but because it's a soup, it's not overwhelming.
So full of flavour, so different from what we have in England. Every year there must be a...
The room abruptly becomes a lot quieter than it was a few minutes before anyone had eaten a mouthful. More can be spoken in quiet than in words. Everyone had started making guesses moments earlier. It would taste like a gigantic hamburger, one person remarked with confidence. Another person speculated that it might look like sausage meat compressed into a loaf. Another person anticipated a texture that was in between stuffing and meatballs. No one had a better point of reference, so all the comparisons sounded logical. Then, as soon as the first piece touched the plate, their self-assured theories started to fall apart. The texture was softer than anticipated without crumbling.
Again. First meatloaf is from Cooking with Dimples. Nope. Is this the easiest meatloaf recipe you can probably find online? Yes. However, this is probably the worst meatloaf you can find online too. Everything was going just fine when I was making it.
Well, the portion sizes in Black Bear Diner are like what you imagine American sizes to be. Like, and it doesn't disappoint. Like this is something else. Look at the sandwich. Look at it. This is something I have to watch out for.
Instead of contributing crispness, the onions had softly dissolved into the dish, adding moisture. The seasoning spread equally from edge to center with each bite. In order to prevent the tastes from becoming overpowering, the glaze struck a balance between savory richness and just the right amount of sweetness. It tasted nothing like the meatball, burger, or anything else they had compared it to. It had a distinct meatloaf flavor, and many were utterly taken aback by that understanding. The fact that no one instantly alters their mind is what makes these reactions so fun. It takes place gradually. The reluctance to bite into the loaf comes first. After the first mouthful, wary curiosity follows.
When I go to a restaurant, I'm always tempted to order the meatloaf, and I know that's boring, so is sausage and mash. I just love the comfort, but whenever I've made it at home, and I've followed, I think, 3 different recipes, it just never tastes as warm and comforting. So I've decided...
Americans' portions are something else, completely next level. Look at this. Club sandwich. Look at that. I've already eaten half the fries off of it. Massive. It's actually like 2 full sandwiches. Are insane.
The fries are.
Conversations start to slow down a few seconds later as everyone concentrates more on eating than speaking. Before long, someone silently grabs another slice without making a huge deal out of it. It is nearly invisible because it is such a common move. However, it frequently exposes more than even the loudest response could. Applause for good comfort food is unusual. All it does is persuade folks to continue eating. When the discussion turns from the food itself to the recipe, it may be the most unexpected. Many novice cooks believe there must be an official American version out there just waiting to be found, only to find out that there isn't actually one.
You got bacon on the outside of this guy, and then I got the mac and cheese. I've heard the mac and cheese here is amazing. They do a bunch of different types of mac and cheese, buffalo chicken, barbecue. Look at these little noodles, dude.
Can I please have a roast beef? Oh, that looks so good. It looks so juicy. I'm not getting all that, obviously. Wait, I'm getting all of that? Wait, what? She's joking. No, she must be joking. No way, what? I get all of that? Oh my goodness, wow.
Every household appears to be certain that their meatloaf is the best. And for some reason, each of those statements seems equally plausible. While some recipes rely on a sweet tomato glaze that caramelizes wonderfully when baked, others mainly emphasize smoky barbecue aromas. Some families sneak cheese into the heart of the loaf, others wrap it in bacon, and many discreetly conceal vegetables inside the mixture so kids will gladly eat the things they would typically toss around the plate. Instead of adhering to strict culinary guidelines, meatloaf flourishes because it allows each generation to add their own touches to a meal that already has decades of family history. The entire debate is altered by that revelation.
Sorry.
Enjoy holding your food and eating it like that. Yes, I'm sorry I let it get that far.
No, our mistake. Our mistake completely.
Mate, cheers.
Cheers.
To the best ribs in America.
I feel like we should go on to the main event before it gets cold. The meat sampler.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt pulled pork,
Yes.
brisket,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
That is a sausage patty.
Oh.
Should we try the pulled pork first?
Cool.
All of a sudden, meatloaf seems less like a particular American recipe and more like a custom that has been recreated hundreds of times in American households. British cooks start asking which version they want to try next rather than which is authentic. The doubters who were hoping to validate an online joke are now debating glazes, talking about seasoning blends, and making minor adjustments for the next try. Between the first slice and the last bite, perhaps. Silently, the question shifted from whether Meatloaf deserved its reputation to why so many people had misinterpreted it for so long. That change is fascinating because it seldom ever occurs as a result of someone giving an impassioned speech in support of American cuisine.
Yeah, and this was my favorite dish in prison because it was so bomb. And those who know what I'm talking about. It used to be like a little scoop of ice cream. That's what they use, scoops of ice cream.
Too much sugar. But you Americans just with sugar and everything. No wonder you guys all that.
Fantastic. It's so beautiful, I don't even want to touch it. Alright, let's get into it. Hold on.
The meal takes care of everything on its own. Years of presumptions are replaced by one taste, and the discussion progressively shifts from whether Meatloaf merits the jokes to something far more surprising. People begin to question why, in the first place, a meal that offers so much comfort ended up being one of the easiest targets on the internet. The way the recipe is often presented to the world may be more relevant to the solution than the recipe itself. Meatloaf is not an ostentatious dish served in restaurants to wow tourists. It is not the first dish that tourists think of when they think of American cuisine, and it is hardly ever featured in travel brochures or on televised cooking contests.
Also got mac and cheese and collard greens. Collard greens, so, collard greens first. Yeah. Mac and cheese. It made me whisper. This is really good.
What are you going to order?
I'm going to go for the lumberjack.
And what is the lumberjack?
It says 2 eggs, a choice of bacon, ham or sausage, toast, home fried.
Rather, it is a part of a more subdued home culinary heritage. It is the type of supper that is brought to the table following a demanding day and is served casually, as everyone is already aware of its significance. Presentation has never been its strongest suit. It has always been the atmosphere that arises when everyone is seated around the table. Surprisingly rapidly, British viewers start to recognize that. Beneath the many ingredients and family recipes is a very familiar philosophy. Hearty meals that prioritize warmth, charity, and comfort over elegance have been celebrated in Britain for years. The goal has never been to impress strangers. Whether it's a traditional Sunday roast, a shepherd's pie, or a slow-cooked family favorite passed down through the generations.
Look at this. What is going on in New York City? New York City is so crazy. Look at that. That is crazy. Look at this. Someone please tell me what's going on there. But the main focus is right there. Let's go to Applebee's for the first time. Come on.
They pull it from? I don't know. When you cook the pork, it's like a giant cut of pork, right? And then you
I don't know. I've never made
pulled
pork.
pork. It looks like Wolverine's claws to like shred it and pull it apart. And you make pulled pork. Guys, I've already eaten it.
Its purpose has always been to unite people. From that perspective, Meatloaf becomes less of a weird American curiosity and more of a distant relative in the same family of comfort foods. While the cooking is still going on, the insight becomes even more apparent. Uncertain moments that are unrelated to nationality seem to occur in every kitchen. Someone is concerned that the center's cooking is still ongoing. It just needs a few more minutes, according to another. Some claim that those caramelized edges will likely taste the greatest, while others become certain that the glaze is becoming excessively dark. Regardless of where they were raised, every home cook has experienced this familiar scene.
It's a tequila lime and soda, honestly. But it's called Cactus Water. It's got a tahini. It's great. Okay, so we have the famous Texas Roadhouse rolls. So,
We are Brits in America, specifically Bend, Oregon, and we're trying biscuits and gravy for the first time ever. As you can see, we've already dubbed in, but we want to show you guys what we think. So,
You should feed me.
I'll feed you.
The sensation seems universal even if the dish is American. The payoff is considerably more satisfying because of those few moments of uncertainty. Everyone is emotionally invested in the outcome by the time the meatloaf is eventually placed on the table. They combine the ingredients, argued over the timing, checked the oven more than needed, and secretly hoped that all of that work would pay off. All of a sudden, this goes beyond simply testing an American recipe. Everyone is now involved in the initiative and wants it to be successful. The moment that shows up in video after video then occurs. The initial slice vanishes regardless of who is holding the camera. Not because someone declares it to be amazing or begins an emotional assessment, but rather because the talk virtually stops.
I realize I've never had any good old-fashioned American food, you know, the type that you see on television. I've done some research and it seems that Boston Market is the place for it. So I stepped in there, bare things were on the menu and none of the drinks machines were working. So we're off.
This is so good. Getting here, everyone kept telling me, you ain't gonna find good food over here. I'm so glad that somebody recommended this to me.
Individuals are much more eager to have another taste than to describe what they recently had. It is impossible to coerce that kind of response. When food surpasses expectations to such an extent that the brain takes a few seconds to process what the taste receptors have already determined, it naturally occurs. The stillness is finally broken by someone. That was not what I anticipated. Despite being a straightforward statement, it bears the weight of all the stereotypes that have come before it. Another acknowledges that they were ready to be courteous about a dinner they thought they would never prepare again. Rather, they start inquiring about the seasoning.
Back their diner, like what you imagine American sizes to be. Like, and it doesn't disappoint. Like this is something else. Look at the sandwich. Look at it. This is something I have to watch.
Oh! Get up in there real. Oh! That's it right there. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, where you put that? 10.
That one is American, isn't it? It's amazing. That's not beans on toast, buddy. No, it's better than beans on toast, that's for sure. This might be the best barbecue food I've.
Another person wants to know whether there's a way to make the glaze more spicy. The conversation soon turns to potential changes, side dishes, and what they might do differently the next time. The next word subtly turns into the greatest compliment of all. Nobody intends to try a recipe again if they didn't enjoy it. The people who spent the most time opposing the idea prior to dinner are probably the ones with the funniest responses. They frequently grab another slice first, laughing at themselves as they acknowledge that the internet might have been entirely mistaken. Watching self-assurance give way to reluctant appreciation is unquestionably interesting, particularly when the person making the admission is forced to take what is on their plate.
Years in the making. Me talking about this, reacting to it, and now I'm here. And of course I have the southern sweet tea. So we call this bread in the UK.
Nice one. Choice of pancakes or French toast. I'm going to go for the pancakes. I don't even know what to say.
When your fork keeps coming back for another mouthful, it's hard to stay proud. Then, just when immigrants believe they have thoroughly tasted meatloaf, Americans introduce another custom that seems almost as bizarre as the dish itself. The sandwich that was left over. The concept initially causes questions for those who are not familiar with it. The meal that fosters enduring loyalty does not sound like yesterday's meatloaf sandwiched between two slices of toasted bread. Again, though, expectations tend to crumble in the face of actual experience. It feels less like leftovers and more like a whole new dinner when thick slices are piled with mayonnaise, mustard, barbecue sauce, melted cheese, or even crunchy onions.
I never had an idea that meatloaf is supposed to look like a loaf of bread. That's when you had me do the shape of it. I was like, it dawned on me like, oh, it's supposed to be meatloaf. But the whole time in prison was like an ice cream scoop. So my idea was like 2 fat ice cream scoops of meatloaf.
It does not look very appetizing at all. Like,
and you guys said that beans on toast looks bad. This looks worse than beans on toast, right? Beans on toast looks really nice compared to this.
This looks a bit like slop.
It kind of looks like someone's thrown up all over a bit of bread.
Stop.
It's true, that's what it looks like.
Right, James, here you go.
Suddenly, what started off as a family meal becomes one of the most gratifying sandwiches that many people have ever had. First-timers in Britain are nearly as surprised by this revelation as they are by the original dinner. Some people even make light of the possibility that the leftovers might be superior to the first dish. That claim has been made by Americans for decades, frequently with total seriousness. Yet after just one mouthful, it no longer seems like an exaggeration. Meals rarely go better overnight. However, Meatloaf manages to accomplish precisely that, providing families with something to anticipate long after supper is finished. These kinds of moments show why the meal has endured despite shifting consumer preferences, culinary fads, and many internet jokes. Meatloaf was never intended to follow the newest culinary trends or compete with pricey restaurant cuisine.
To say, welcome to Texas. Is this a normal size?
Yes.
It is? Is this Texas style?
I would say it's Texas size.
All right.
Service about an 18 to 20 ounce portion of prime rib.
Wow, amazing. All right, ready for a light lunch here in Houston, Texas?
So good. This is why everyone kept telling me to have it.
Right now, if we had Chipotle in Australia, I swear to God, I would be there every.
It exists because generations of families found that, when handled carefully, basic, reasonably priced materials might result in something incredibly fulfilling. It demonstrates that comfort does not require luxury, and that exceptional meals frequently start with the most commonplace items imaginable. It is a cooking style that values ingenuity just as much as flavor. Ironically, this could be the same reason why outsiders misinterpreted it for so long. Meatloaf is almost too straightforward from the outside to merit the love that Americans have for it. It doesn't rely on eye-catching presentation or unusual ingredients. It has a more subdued charm than that. One bite at a time, it gradually becomes apparent, rewarding patience rather than spectacle. Meatloaf works by concentrating on something far harder to mimic in a world where people are becoming more and more fixated on dishes that look amazing on camera.